This is sort of like a tried and tested way, isn't it? Sort of cozy up to the government, maybe help curry favor, and hopefully it'll do your business some good.
Yeah, and probably more than any other country on the planet, it really works in China to show that you as a company are willing to help the government there achieve its own goals. And their goals include increasing research in China, developing more competence among the research community. Ultimately, probably will include training more people. I'm sure Apple will get involved in that. And I know that Microsoft got a lot of mileage when they started helping entrepreneurship in China. And interestingly, I wrote a big piece for Fortune about this back in the day. Microsoft just always stumbled in China until the day it did all that stuff, and then finally, everything took off. Windows got licensed legally. All kinds of great things happened.
A little bit of investment can go a long way. David, it was just last time that we had you on that the Baidu chair and CEO was discussing perhaps China becoming a real hotspot in terms of tech entrepreneurialism, tech talent, and perhaps luring it away from the US. Does this suggest even more that we could see tech talent from other countries move to China?
Well, I think probably yes. I mean, I was super impressed by that Robin Lee interview that you had on last week. I mean, really impressed. I've thought about it since then. I've talked to people about it. I think he said a lot of things that surprised me, especially about China wanting to be a sort of magnet for even skilled immigration. That was a very new idea. But I think if the U.S. continues on this path of going towards a more closed mindset with our own economy, you're going to see a lot of other countries making hay with that, and even U.S. companies helping those other countries make hay with it. And I think, you know, China is a country that's really got a huge tech marketplace, huge tech industry, and you know, we can't take them for granted. We can't take our competitive position with them for granted. And I'm afraid the way Washington rhetoric is going right now, we're taking a lot of this too much for granted.
And Apple certainly can't take it for granted, because when you look at the market share, you look at Huawei, Vivo, Oppo, we're talking about it. Xiaomi seems to be losing some of its luster at the moment, but generally some of the smartphones being made in China are so powerful and so much cheaper price point. Do you think Apple can really start to win back some of its market share? Because it's crucial when it comes to like 20% of its revenue.
You know, that is not just a China question, in my opinion. I think a lot is riding on this next iPhone coming out this fall being a major shift and a major move forward with some really fundamentally new qualities. And I've heard a lot of people saying they think it's going to do really well. I have yet to hear an argument about why it's going to be so different from the extremely good iPhone that I have in my pocket now. And I think, though, if it were really cool, really different, the Chinese are going to respond to that as well as any country. And I think if it goes to be a global, you know, huge market phenomenon, China will come along with that. Otherwise, if it's just a slightly better smartphone, I think there's plenty of competition that's going to really hurt it in China in particular.